All right, so I'm going to do another teacher read aloud here, and I'm going to think out loud. Well, what did I notice? Well, I noticed release from the community. That was hard not to notice. Um, Jonas chuckled when the speaker said that, that the pilot was going to be released from the community. Sports, he flashed back. There was a flashback to when Jonas yelled at his friend Asher for, losing the game for them. And there's the morning anthem at school. So how is this like our world? Well, I play sports. I attend school. I say the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning, so maybe their anthem is like our Pledge of Allegiance. It's not that different. So how is it unlike our world? Well, community members aren't released. So let's say you mess up really badly. They don't release you from the community unless it's like jail. So maybe it's jail. I have no idea. But you don't just get released from the community. Could you imagine South Riding and, your mom or dad does a bad job at work, so they send your parent away from the community of South Riding. They're no longer allowed to live here. So that's kind of a weird idea. Required public apology. So Asher came in late, and he had to do a public apology when he was late for class. I wish I had to had that rule in my classroom where you guys who came in late, you had to do a public apology for the class. That would be great. But we don't have that here. So that's unlike our world. What might this story be about? So now I'm rethinking. So nothing in that next section made me think this was war. Maybe friendship. There's his friend Asher, who we're introduced to. Forgiveness, maybe. There seems like they're having to make public apologies, so they're big on forgiveness. So yeah, I don't know exactly what this story is about yet, but I'm still forming my thoughts and my opinions. This is all that I can do at this point. I'm paying attention to the setting, and I'm trying to make meaning based off of what I know. So I'm going to continue my read aloud. I left home at the correct time, but when I was riding along near the hatchery, the crew was separating some salmon. This is Asher's apology. Remember, this is still a flashback. I guess I just got distraught watching them. I apologized to my classmates, Asher concluded. He smoothed his rumpled tunic. His tunic is like a shirt, and sat down. We accept your apology, Asher. The class recited the standard response in unison. Many of the students were biting their lips to keep from laughing. I accept your apology, Asher, the instructor said. He was smiling. And I thank you because once again you have provided an opportunity for a lesson in language. Distraught is too strong an adjective to describe salmon viewing. He turned and wrote distraught on the instructional board. Beside it, he wrote distracted. Now, that's a little joke if you don't know the difference between distraught and distracted. Distraught means like upset to the point of tears, like you're crying, you're inconsolable. Distracted, what that should mean. You're not paying attention to what you're doing. So he did not use the correct language. Jonas, nearing his home now, smiled at the recollection. So we were in a flashback again, and now we're back in the present. So there's a lot of flashback happening in this first couple of pages here. Jonas, nearing his home now, smiled at the recollection, thinking still, as he wheeled his bike into its narrow port beside the door, he realized that frightened was the wrong word to describe his feelings, now that December was almost here. It was too strong an adjective. He had waited a long time for this special December. Now that it was almost upon him, he wasn't frightened, but he was eager, he decided. He was eager for it to come, and he was excited, certainly. All of the 11s were excited about the event that would be coming so soon. But there was a little shudder of nervousness when he thought about it, about what might happen. Apprehensive, Jonas decided. That's what I am. So it took all these pages for Jonas to basically figure out his feelings. So at first he said, he was scared or frightened, and then he said, no, that's not the right word. And then all these flashbacks led us to this one word, apprehensive. I'm apprehensive. So he's been thinking about this very in depth for a long time. It traversed a couple of pages here for us. just exactly precisely how he was feeling. So we're going to stop right there. And what did I notice? Well, December. So there are months, and months just like ours. We have December. Response in unison. So how's this like our world? I already said December is in our calendar. The teachable moment, too strong of a word. I can see a teacher doing that. Peers would be holding back laughter. Let's say he messed up and said a word like that, distraught instead of distracted. Yeah, it would probably be a funny thing even in our world today. How is this unlike our world? Well, Jonas is nervous about December. I don't know about you, but most people are happy about December. We have Christmas time or the holiday break. It's a time away from school, time with your family. So people don't normally get nervous about December. So what might this story be about? Well, I just described that there was a whole big, long, couple of pages that he was thinking about his feelings. So maybe this is all about ownership of feelings. Or, Jonas had to apologize for saying you're released to Asher, and Asher had to apologize to the class for being late. Maybe it's about ownership of feelings. So feelings or actions, I have no idea what this big idea could be, but it doesn't seem to be about war. So I'm going to kind of scrap that idea unless something else pops up. My whole point for this is that you can be wrong and it's okay. You should not know what it's about right at the beginning, and that's fine. But you keep revising your theory about what your big idea might be, and you keep working at it and keep working at it. And by the end, you figure out what the story is really about. That's what good readers do. So what I want you to do is continue reading the rest of chapter 1 by yourself. You can use the video links at the, on the page here on your HyperDoc that link to the chapter read aloud, so you can listen to those read aloud. And then you're going to go through the end of the chapter. And I'm going to give you this piece of paper to glue into your notebook. It looks like that picture on the right there. And you're going to glue it into your workshop notes section. And it's about setting. So look at the example here. What do I notice is at the top? How is it like or unlike our world? What kind of place is this physically or emotionally? And maybe this means the story is really about. And that's exactly what I was just doing with the talk aloud here, the think aloud. So think about Priscilla and the Wimps. Setting, what do I notice? Modern day school, okay? How is this like or unlike our world? Students from many backgrounds with a variety of social needs. What kind of place is this physically or emotionally? Physically, school building. Emotionally, intimidating. What is this story really about then? Well, power would be my big idea there. So I want you to fill this out for the giver. And I also want you to share out, after you're done with that, I want you to have 3 examples for how this setting is like our world. And I want you to answer the question on Padlet. So there's a link to Padlet right there. So answer that question. What big idea are you thinking this could be? And for your homework, you're going to read chapters 1 to 7. So all the way through chapter 7, through the end. And annotate anything that's shocking or surprising. Get your sticky notes out. You're going to start annotating anything that you find shocking or surprising in that next section.